The jungle was quiet, but only for a moment. Birds had stopped singing. Wind had paused in midair. Even the leaves, thick and wet from the morning rain, seemed frozen in time. Jax Hunter, a young human survivor from the fallen Earth colony, moved carefully through the alien forest. His shirt was ripped, sweat pouring down his chest, and his eyes never stopped scanning the trees. His jaw was tight, his muscles tense. He had been alone for weeks, ever since the crash. His only rule was simple: trap first, ask questions later. And that's exactly what he had done. Jax single quotes S-trap wasn't meant for someone like her. It was built for small, fast predators that hunted at night, four-legged things with glowing teeth, the kind that shredded armor like paper. But what he found in the net wasn't a beast. It was a girl. An alien girl. She hung upside down from the vines, her arms caught above her head by woven netting. Her long purple hair floated around her, brushing her glowing skin. She blinked slowly, confused and dazed, her strange silver eyes wide as they focused on Jack standing below. He froze, not from fear but confusion. Her skin was a soft violet, like twilight shadows on water. Her outfit, if it could even be called that, was made from black threads that shimmered like starlight, hugging her in strange, spiraled patterns. She looked too perfect to be real. But she was very real. And she was terrified. When Jack stepped closer, she flinched and made a sharp, broken sound in a language he didn't understand. Her body trembled. Her chest rose and fell fast. She thought he was going to hurt her. Jax raised his hand slowly. Hey. It's okay, he said softly, keeping his voice low. I'm not gonna eat you, relax. But that only made her panic more. The alien girl hissed, twisting in the net like a trapped bird. Her eyes burned with panic, her breathing ragged. She muttered something sharp, almost like a warning, but Jax couldn't understand. He knelt down beside her, carefully removing a small blade from his belt. Look, I'll get you down. Just stop moving, okay? You're gonna hurt yourself. But the girl didn't stop. Tears were forming in her eyes now, not from pain but fear. She kept glancing at his teeth, at his hands, at his chest, as if trying to guess where his fangs would strike. Jax paused. Wait, you think I'm going to eat you? He asked, almost laughing. Her face tensed, and she nodded. Once Jax dropped the knife, stunned. Seriously. The girl's eyes widened even more. She thought the motion meant he was about to strike. She closed her eyes tightly, bracing for the end. Jax backed away quickly and sat on a nearby rock. This is insane, he muttered to himself. She thinks I'm some kind of jungle cannibal? He looked up again, but now something else struck him. Why was an alien girl even here? And why was she alone? There were rumors back at the outpost before it burned down. Rumors about a new alien species, not hostile, but rare. They had healing songs and skin that changed color when they were afraid. Some called them myth. Some said they were the original builders of the forest cities before the war. Jax had laughed at those stories, but now she was right in front of him. Breathing, shivering, and thinking he was a monster. He stood again. This time he didn't go for the knife. He went for his satchel. From it, he pulled out a piece of fruit, bright orange and glowing softly in the dim jungle light. It was harmless, sweet, and safe. He held it up. Double quotes, see this, he said gently. Food. This is food, not you. You're not food. He took a bite himself, then offered it up. The alien girl hesitated. Her eyes flicked between him and the fruit. Her hands still twitched against the vines, unsure, but slowly, very slowly. Her lips parted. And she nodded just once. Jack smiled. Okay then. We're getting somewhere. But just as he reached up to cut her down, the trees behind them snapped. Something big was coming, and it wasn't human. or friendly.jax single quotes s eyes narrowed. He didn't know if this girl was an ally or not, but one thing was clear. He had to protect her. The growl came again, deep, loud, and close. Jocks grabbed his blade and turned fast. Vines shook, leaves fluttered. Something heavy moved just beyond the wall of trees. The alien girl, still hanging, let out a sharp gasp and twisted hard, trying to warn him. Jax stepped in front of her. "Stay quiet," he whispered. She didn't understand the words, but she understood the tone. She nodded fast and bit her lip, holding her breath. Jax crouched low. His hand gripped the handle of the knife tightly. Then it stepped out. Not a beast. Not a monster. A machine. It was tall, almost twice Jax's height, covered in thick metal plates and glowing red lights. Its feet crushed the soft jungle floor with every step. Its arms were long, ending in claw-like weapons. It turned its head once and stopped. Jax single quotes s breath caught. The machine had scanned him. He didn't know who built it. Maybe it was leftover from the war. Maybe it hunted survivors. Or maybe it was after the girl. Jax had no time to think. The machine raised its arm, charging energy in its core. Jax moved. He threw a sharp rock, fast and low, toward the trees. The noise distracted the machine just long enough for him to act. Slash the vines. The alien girl fell hard, but Jocks caught her halfway, pulling her behind him. She gasped again, clutching his arm, eyes wide. Jocks shouted, even if she didn't understand. He pulled her hand and ran through the jungle, dodging roots, jumping over fallen trees, his heart pounding. Behind them, the machine followed fast. Branches cracked. The sound of metal crashing through leaves echoed everywhere. Jax could barely breathe, but he didn't stop. Neither did she. Even though she stumbled, even though she didn't know the path, she trusted him. Finally, they reached a cave hidden behind a waterfall. Jocks had found it weeks ago. A small space, dry inside, covered with moss and stone. He pushed her inside first, then dove in and pulled the vines shut. Darkness. Only the sound of heavy breathing filled the cave. Outside, the machine slowed. Then, it turned. Its footsteps faded into the jungle. Jax waited. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. Then, he exhaled slowly and collapsed against the wall. The girl sat nearby, hugging her knees, watching him. Her breathing slowed too. Her glowing skin flickered faint. Light fading. Jax laughed weakly. "You okay?" he asked. She blinked, tilted her head, didn't answer. "Right. You don't speak English." Jocks looked at her again. Really looked. Her hair, wet and tangled, hung around her like a curtain. Her eyes were still wide, but not afraid now, just curious. Her skin, though bruised from the fall, glowed in soft patterns, like light moving underwater. Jax reached into his bag again and offered the fruit from before. This time, she took it. Her fingers brushed his. Jax felt a strange warmth. She took a bite, slow and unsure, then closed her eyes. A small smile appeared on her face. Jocks smiled too. "That's better." Then she spoke. Not English. Not any language Jocks had ever heard, but her voice was soft, musical, and beautiful. It echoed off the cave walls like wind chimes. Each word seemed to flow into the next like water. Jax shook his head slowly. I don't get it." She pointed at herself. "Leia," she said. Jax blinked. "Lee?" She nodded. He pointed at himself. "Jocks." She smiled. Then slowly, she touched her fingertips to her chest. Then to her lips. Then lightly to Jocks's forehead. Jax felt his skin tingle. Then something strange happened. His ears rang. His heartbeat slowed. And suddenly he could understand her. Just a few words. Not all. But enough. "You not Hunter?" she asked slowly, her voice shaky. Jax blinked. "You did something to me." She looked scared again. "You kill me?" He shook his head. "No, Her voice dropped to a whisper. You. Touch mine. Sorry. Jax leaned closer. You can talk to me now? Little, not much. Words hard. Jax stared at her, amazed. You have telepathy? Small, weak, only when near. They both sat in silence. Then she asked, why? Trap? Jax explained slowly. I didn't know you were in the forest. I was hungry. I was trying to catch food. I'm alone. I thought you were a threat. She frowned. You not war man? Jax shook his head. No. I'm just trying to survive. Her face softened. Then she did something unexpected. She reached out and gently touched his chest. You save Leia, she said. Jax smiled. Yeah, I guess I did. But before he could say more, her eyes narrowed again. Her voice dropped. Lo, they will come for me. Who? My people, and others. Jax froze. Why? She looked up, her eyes glowing again. Because I'm not supposed to be here. Jax didn't move. The cave felt smaller now, his heart beat louder. What do you mean? He asked slowly. You're not supposed to be here? The alien girl, Leia, lowered her eyes. Her hands touched the fruit again, but she didn't eat. They will search, she whispered. They always search. Jax sat down across from her. Who are they? She hesitated. Then she looked up, and for the first time, Jax saw something different in her eyes. Shame. Double quotes my own. Jax blinked. Your own people? She nodded. They follow laws, strong rules. I broke one. Jax leaned forward. What kind of rule? She looked toward the cave opening, as if expecting someone to burst through at any second. No contact, no landwalk, no human touch. Jax raised an eyebrow. So you're not allowed to be on the surface? No. Then why are you? She hugged her knees tighter. I wanted to see. Jax frowned. See what? Sky, trees, animals, war machines, stories. She looked down again. Stories say we must stay below, hidden, pure. But I dream. Jax sighed and rubbed his face. He knew that kind of feeling too well. Back on the colony, he used to stare at the stars through broken glass and wonder what the real world looked like. So you snuck out? He asked. She nodded. First time, now I am chased. Jax leaned back against the stone. And that machine in the jungle, that was sent to find you? Yes, she said softly. To bring you back? Her answer came like ice, to erase. Jax's eyes widened. You mean kill? She didn't respond. She didn't need to. Jax stood suddenly and paced. This girl, this strange, beautiful, curious alien, was being hunted by her own kind. Just for wanting to see the sky. Why would they do that to you? He asked. She lifted her hand. Drew a small glowing symbol in the air. It floated like smoke before fading. Our minds touch others. We feel too much. Leaders fear change, fear love, fear choice. Jax stopped. Wait, he said slowly. You can feel love? Leia tilted her head. You do not? Jax chuckled. Humans are built for chaos and feelings. She smiled faintly. Then, dangerous. Jax laughed quietly. You have no idea. They both stayed silent for a while. Outside, the forest settled. Birds returned. The rain stopped. But something in the air still felt heavy. Finally, Jax asked, what happens if they find you? Leia answered, they wipe memory, erase name, make me clean again. Jax stepped closer. But you don't want that. She shook her head. I want to remember, even you. Jax's chest tightened. He wasn't sure why. Maybe it was the way she said, you, like he was already a memory she didn't want to lose. He knelt beside her. Then we'll stop them. Her eyes widened. How? Jax smiled. I've survived beasts, storms, and my own team turning on me. I think I can handle a few glowing robots. She tilted her head again. You fight for me? Jax shrugged. Yeah, why not? Her voice was small. You don't know me. He looked at her carefully. I know you're kind. I know you're curious. And I know you didn't deserve to be hunted just for wanting to live. She stared at him, then slowly reached out and touched his arm again. You feel strange, she whispered. Jax grinned. You too. But before they could say more, a loud sound cracked the sky. A pulse. Jax stood fast. L single quotes, EY froze. They found me, she said. A glowing red light appeared outside the cave. A scanner drone. Jax single quotes, S-mind raced. He had no weapons strong enough. No armor, just a knife and old gear. But he couldn't run. He wouldn't leave her. Come on, he whispered, grabbing her hand. We have to move. She resisted. They will follow, always follow. Then we make them chase us somewhere they can't go. Where? Jax pointed up, the cliffs. She hesitated, then nodded. Together they ran through the shadows, chased by the very people who once called her family. And Jax couldn't stop thinking about one thing. How far would he go to protect someone he just met? Jax and Leah ran through thick vines and glowing roots. Behind them, the red light grew stronger. The scanner drone was fast. It hummed like angry wasps, shooting light over the trees, scanning everything. It was calling more. Jax could hear distant machines waking up, metal legs stepping, engines burning. They were coming, but he wasn't stopping. Keep going, he whispered to Leah, pulling her hand. The forest opened ahead. Sunlight poured in through cracks in the trees. The sound of rushing water roared nearby. They were close, very close. We're almost there, Jax said, breathless. The cliffs are just ahead. Leah looked nervous. Her steps were shaky. Her skin glowed a strange blue now, not fear, not panic, something else. What's wrong? Jax asked. Cliffs, forbidden. Jax frowned. To who? To all. Even watchers do not go there. Why? She slowed. Many fall, many vanish. Energy too strong. Mind can break. Jax glanced back. 2 more drones appeared behind them, scanning through the trees. We don't have a choice, he said. We go where they won't. Leah hesitated, but she trusted him. They pushed through the final trees, and there it was. The edge of the world. Massive cliffs stood before them, reaching high into the clouds. Waves crashed far below, and strange glowing mist rose from the depths. The wind howled. Sparks of light floated in the air, tiny stars, dancing between cracks in the rocks. L single quotes, EY, a gasped. I've never seen this. Jax stepped closer. This place saved me once. During a storm, even the wild things don't come here. They moved along the cliff edge, ducking under sharp rocks and moss-covered stone arches. They entered a hidden crevice between 2 walls of stone, almost like a cave, but open to the sky above. Jax stopped there. He turned to her. We'll wait here. They won't follow. Leah looked uncertain. Her hands trembled slightly. Then, without warning, her knees buckled. Whoa! Jax caught her. Her skin flickered, glowing wild colors now. Her eyes were wide, but unfocused. Leah? What's happening? She tried to speak, but the words twisted, broken and sharp. Then she clutched her head. Jax realized it was the cliffs. The energy here was doing something to her. Breathe, he said quickly, placing her against the wall. Stay still. Mind hurt. Voices, she whispered. Jax grabbed his gear. From his bag he pulled a metal cloth, his last piece of old shielding tech. He wrapped it gently around her head like a hood. It worked. Slowly. Her body calmed. Her breathing steadied. She looked up at him weakly. You help again. Jax smiled. Always. But inside, he felt scared. Whatever this place was, it was powerful. And dangerous. But it was also hiding something. He could feel it. The air buzzed. His skin tingled. His mind felt like it was being touched. Not attacked, but observed. Watched. He stood up, turning in a circle, and that's when he saw it. The markings. On the stone walls, glowing symbols, not written by hand. They pulsed gently. Alive. He walked closer. Leia, he whispered. What are these? She sat up slowly, still weak. Her eyes found the symbols. And her face went pale. It is the before. Jacques frowned. Before what? Before the Watchers, before my kind. Before the laws. Jacques looked again. The symbols looked like both language and code, like they were from a time long forgotten, or from beings far beyond. He touched one. The air shifted, and then the stone glowed brighter. A deep voice echoed not from outside, but inside his head. You carry the memory of fire. Jacques stumbled back. What was that? Leia stood now, shaky but alert. They speak through stone, old ones. Protectors. Jacques's pulse raced. What do they want? She looked at him. You. Jacques's mouth dropped. Me? Why? But before she could answer, the sky flashed red. A ship. Sleek, black, and fast cut through the clouds and hovered above the cliffs. Searchlights burned through the air. They had found her. Jax stepped in. Front of her again, knife in hand. You'll have to go through me, he muttered. But Leia placed her hand on his shoulder. No, we go together. Jacques nodded slowly, but inside he knew this wasn't just about her anymore. Something deep in this place had awakened. And it had chosen him. The air shook. The black ship hovered above, casting long shadows over the cliffs. Its engines hummed low, steady, and powerful. Red lights scanned the rocks below like eyes searching for prey. Jax and Leia stood still, pressed against the glowing stone. Jax's hand tightened around his knife. We're out of time, he whispered. But Leia didn't move. Her eyes were fixed on the ancient symbol still glowing behind them. Her lips parted slowly. They are calling again, she whispered. Jax turned to her. The voices? She nodded. They know you. They wait for you. Jacques frowned. Why me? Before she could answer, the light from the ship narrowed. It had found them. A blinding red beam hit the cliff wall near their feet. Stone cracked. The cliff shook. Jax grabbed Leia's hand. Run! But before they could move, the wall behind them opened, not like a door, more like the stone melted, forming a glowing arch. Behind it was a tunnel, smooth, bright, and warm like fire and moonlight mixed together. Jax stared. What is this? Leia's eyes widened. A gate. To where? She looked at him, voice barely above a breath. To the memory. Jacques pulled her inside. Just as the first blast from the ship's cannon hit the edge of the cliff. Stone exploded outside. Dust and wind rushed into the tunnel. But inside, there was only calm. And light. The moment they passed through the arch, the sound of the war faded. The heat and noise disappeared. It felt like entering a dream. The walls glowed. Gently soft gold and white. No wires. No tech. The tunnel seemed alive, like it was breathing. Jax touched one wall. It was warm. And then he heard it again. You carry the memory of fire. He spun around. Who are you? What do you mean? The voice echoed from everywhere and nowhere. Leia. Touched the wall with her palm. Symbols bloomed beneath her hand. She looked at Jacques. This is not a place. It is a being. Jacques blinked. The tunnel is alive? Yes, she whispered. It sleeps. It waits. Only awakens for chosen. Jacques stared at the glowing floor. Why me? She took a step closer to him. Because you saved me. You did not kill. You did not trade. You gave freely. Jacques swallowed. I just did what felt right. She smiled. Softly. And that is why they remember. He was about to ask more, But suddenly the walls shifted. Images appeared all around them, floating like memories, scenes of war. Fire falling from the sky, ships exploding, alien races screaming. Humans standing alone. Jax watched in silence. Then the voice returned. You are the echo of the first fire, the last spark of what was lost. Jax gritted his teeth. Stop being poetic. Tell me straight. The images changed. He saw a human soldier, young, brave, holding a line while aliens fled behind him. He looked familiar. Too familiar. Jax single quotes S. Hands trembled. That's my grandfather, Leia gasped. You are blood of Keeper. Jax turned to her. Keeper? Human who made peace, who carried light. He stood between enemies and gave all. Jax's chest tightened. He had heard stories growing up, but no one ever believed them. A man who stopped a war with no army. They said it was just a tale, to keep kids hopeful, but now he knew it was real. He was the descendant of that man, and the ancient ones had not forgotten. Leia stepped closer. They call you not for fight, but for choice. Jax looked at the glowing walls. What choice? The tunnel darkened slightly, and a doorway opened ahead. The voice spoke once more. Choose to walk, and awaken what sleeps, or leave, and the forest will fall. Jax looked at L single quotes EY. Her face was calm, but her eyes held fear. You do not have to, she said. It is not fair. Jax smiled sadly. Nothing ever is. He stepped forward. Through the door. And the world changed again. Jax stepped into the final chamber. The air inside felt heavy but not cold. It was filled with something ancient. Something alive. Around him, tall stone pillars glowed with soft light. The walls were carved with scenes, humans and aliens standing side by side, their hands touching, their hearts glowing like suns. At the center of the chamber stood a circle of floating orbs, each spinning slowly, pulsing like heartbeats. Jax stepped forward. And everything went silent. No wind. No noise. No breath. Then the voice returned, clearer than ever before. You carry what others forgot. Jax took another step. What did they forget? Hope, mercy, the spark of trust. He turned to look at Leia, who had just entered the chamber behind him. Her face was filled with light and wonder. This is the core, she whispered. The place of memory. My people called it forbiddance, but it is home. Jax reached out to touch one of the floating orbs. When his fingers brushed it, everything changed. He saw the wars, centuries of fighting between species. He saw planets burning. He saw humans being blamed and fighting back. He saw his grandfather standing between fleets, weaponless, speaking words no one wanted to hear. But the memory didn't stop there. Jax saw himself, not in the past, but the future, standing before alien councils, reaching out to those in fear, leading not with power but with care. He dropped to his knees. Tears ran down his cheeks. I'm no hero, he whispered. I'm just a guy who fell into a jungle. The voice was gentle, and yet you chose to save, again and again. Leia stepped beside him and knelt. The chamber does not lie, she said. It sees the truth inside. The orbs began to spin faster. Light filled the chamber. And then a wave of warmth spread outward. It rushed through the cliffs, through the jungle, through the trees, and even through the sky, reaching the ship still circling above. Inside that ship, the crew froze. Their controls blinked. Their systems paused. And something ancient touched their minds. Memory. Of peace. Of a young girl with glowing skin. Of a human who didn't strike first. The ship pulled back. It didn't fire. It turned slowly and disappeared into the clouds. Jax looked up. He didn't understand how he knew, but he felt it. They were safe. For now. The chamber dimmed. The orbs settled. And silence returned. But this time, it felt like peace, not fear. Leia sat beside him. You changed it, she whispered. JX laughed weakly. I just caught someone in a trap, she smiled. You did more. He turned to her. What happens now? She looked around the chamber. This place, it remembers. And now, so do we. Jock stood and helped her up. Outside, the sky was turning golden. Birds flew. The jungle was alive again. They walked back toward the edge of the cliff. The same place where it all began. But now everything felt different. JAX turned to her. So what do we do now? Leia took his hand. We walk, he smiled. Just walk? Yes, she nodded, and teach others to see like you did. Jock looked out over the jungle. And for the first time in weeks, he didn't feel lost. He felt chosen. Not by fate, not by magic. But by his own heart.